Good morning. On behalf of all the councillors in East Renfrewshire and all our partners involved in this project, welcome to the launch of our prevention team's brand new project. Our prevention team in East Renfrewshire is very new. We formed it out of our trading standards team and some others, and it's been an innovation unlike anything we've seen in East Renfrewshire in the 20-something years that this council has been going. We did it on the basis that we have an increasingly vulnerable population in East Renfrewshire, very prone to be targeted by scamsters, fraudsters, door-to-door salesmen, because of our reputation for affluence, and also because we have a growing elderly population. So within the Environment Department, an initiative started where we thought that what we have to do, as every council has done for many years, which is to turn up when something bad has happened and try to fix it as best you can, was to get there before it happened and try to stop it in the first place. So Paul and the prevention team have been amazing in the few short months that they've been going, and they're already stacking up awards to the point where it's getting, we're going to have a separate room for them. But one of the best things about their work, and one of the things I'm proudest of in the work that they're doing, is they don't just do it on their own. Our prevention work involves pretty much every public sector partner that there is in East Renfrewshire, and almost all of them are here today. It's a pleasure to see Scottish Fire and Rescue, Police Scotland, Renfrewshire Care and Repair. I know you're here, I'm just trying to remember where you sat because I lost you when I sat down. Even internally in the council, our money advice team and our counter fraud team are involved. So this is a piece of work that's new in East Renfrewshire. Everyone is involved, everyone works together, and the results that we're seeing so far have been spectacular.
The good thing about the prevention team is we're looking at what's available and all the partners that have got fantastic stuff that they'll talk about. I think it's worth mentioning as well that the prevention team wouldn't exist if the bosses within the Environment Department hadn't created that structure. So from Andy Cahill and Andy Corey's point of view at that time, who saw the vision to allow that structure and prevention work to flourish, I think that's been a really positive step, and thanks are due. Shona came into jobs and sent Shona Fraser, and she's been very supportive since she's come into her new role. So we look forward to carrying on and developing the work. Paul Cunningham's here from RBS.
Paul and I spoke at the start of 2015 with the prevention team to get them out to do some events in our branches. It's been a great success. We've had Jane Lynch along involved from the Adult Protection Committee. Jim Boyle, who represents Police Scotland for us, has been along as well. They've been a great success, and I would actually attribute it to the reason why we've managed to help dozens of customers and prevent the fraud going on in their lives. It's not uncommon, as I said earlier on. I'm here to the close of your session today, so if anybody has any questions or any concerns, anything to do with their banking, please take a couple of minutes to come and chat to me, and we can either arrange an appointment in one of the local branches to discuss it further. Whether you're a Royal Bank customer or not, I would extend that out to you. But here to try and help as much as I possibly can, and look forward to continuing the great relationship that we've had so far. So thank you for your time.
I'm responsible for policing in East Renfrewshire, and I really don't want my crime stats to go up. However, what I would say is, please, I want to hear about it. I want to know if there's somebody in the area who's chapping doors, who's offering a service, who's not bona fide. I would rather see that wee increase to know that actually, if I have got an issue in the area, I want to deal with it. So much as it is going to ruin my stats, it's better that I know about it. So please, don't be embarrassed. If you know anybody that has had a rogue trader at their door or a bogus call at their door, don't be embarrassed. Please, they are plausible. It could happen to anybody. It's not just vulnerable and elderly people. It can happen to anybody. They are so convincing. Don't feel as if you're wasting your time. You never waste their time. Never ever waste their time.
Most of the scams, phone calls, emails and letters originate from abroad. Now, we can't stop them coming here. We can't stop them being used. And that's what the prevention pack and all the interaction is going to happen. Now, we need you to help our residents be safe, and also any and all information. Just the old thing here, one piece of a jigsaw, pointless. Give us several, a bit better, give us some all, we can do stuff. Okay, so remember, you've seen the ringing report, the whole lot. Find information, give it to us, and we'll try and help. Okay?
It's 10 billion a year lost to scam mail in the UK, and it's everywhere, it's all around us. It could be affecting people in your family, your close friends. I don't want you to think scam mail is the same as junk mail, which is the mail that you might walk in through your doorstep and it's from bona fide companies just trying to, sell you something or give you a deal. I had one example of a lady recently, and she lost £100,000 to scam mail. She lives in this area, one of her residents, and it'd been going on for years. It's something that I feel quite strongly about, and so did Trading Standards Scotland, and that's why they came up with a project for us to work alongside Royal Mail. So what I was doing was going out and actually training the postmen, and by the end of the talk, they were all coming up and giving me names and addresses of people in this area, Newton, Mearns, Giffnock, Thornleybank, everywhere, people who were getting scammed. So I went out with Jane Lynch from Adult Protection, and we went round the doors and we tried to help as many of those victims as we could. And it worked, and it was really good. And sometimes it's just putting them in touch with other agencies that can bring them out of their situation. Once we can get in there, we can actually help with doing things like power of attorney, mail redirection, and putting people in touch with their partners. But everybody has to look for it. It could be your own mum, your own sister, anything. And we really, really need people to be on an alert, watching for it. And it's always things like postcode lotteries, clairvoyant letters, things like that. So I just ask everyone to really look out for that and be aware.
One of the things that the prevention team's taken on is the telephone call blocker, which has been a huge success. We've now installed about 200 around the district. And what the telephone call blocker does is just knocks out any nuisance calls that you get, but also you'll never be in a situation where somebody can't get a hold of you. We deal with so many different people, it's overwhelming. Some of the stories are great, some of the stories are quite harrowing. She'd called us because both her mother and father had dementia. So we went in, installed the call blocker, and it allowed them, to stay in that house safer. Our daughter feels, safer. She doesn't need to worry so much about her mother and father because she knows that there's going to be no more nuisance calls. They're not going to get their bank details out, and they're not going to get scammed. The call blocker itself has two different profiles. It has the one that most of the 200 residents in East Renfrewshire have it set on, and what happens is when somebody calls them, they get a screening message which tells them to press 2 if they want to speak to the person and they're a trusted caller, or hang up if they're a sales call. So what happens is all these telephone calls that are coming through to them, they come from computer systems, and the computers dial out hundreds of numbers a minute. Now computers can't press 2, so only human beings can press 2. So it's a very simple idea that works very, very kind of successfully. And the stats from what we've got, from all the ones that we've installed, have been brilliant. Well, 99 to 100% of the nuisance calls have been wiped out.
In the prevention team, we specifically work with the Early Years Collaborative, which is basically various council departments and other organisations working together, focusing on the early years of families. And so what we've actually done is we've developed this board. I'll just hand you over to Helen.
As Dominic said, the important thing was not to have all the answers and to make sure that we engaged everyone that we thought could deliver our message. We also went to two specific areas because we were going to be involved in Safety in the Park, which is based in Barrhead. We went to engage the local retailers to find out what were their biggest selling drinks, and as you can imagine, the biggest selling drink was Iron Brew. So when I was speaking about a drink, I would then take out a cup and actually physically show them how much sugar was in it. And that was the real wake-up call. They couldn't believe, one of them, I'm not allowed to say the brand name, but they get them from small kids and they drink them straight out, little bottles and straight onto their teeth. And they thought at the side of it said no sugar. But when I then explained to them on the back about labelling, obviously they wouldn't refer to labelling, they're just kids. However, they didn't know about hidden sugars, and there's a whole raft of information out there just now about artificial sweeteners, and it's all going on, whether it's good for you, it's not good for you. But I take it from a food safety point of view, and they were so interested about everything else that was in the drink. And I wasn't saying to them, don't drink these drinks. I just wanted them to be informed about what was actually in the drink, and to make an informed choice. It was a great success, I have to say. I was really proud of all the kids, and it gave Dominic and I great ideas about further projects.
Our air quality, as Paul mentioned, is excellent. It's well within all national, Scottish and EU standards. In some areas of the district, it's not uncommon to have 3 or 4 car households. So while we are lucky enough to enjoy good air quality in East End, we're conscious that a lot of our cars, they're not just staying in East Renfrewshire, they're going in, and we know large numbers of our residents work in Glasgow city centre, and as you'll all be aware, Glasgow city centre does have issues with air quality. There are a number of areas there that are really struggling to meet the national and the EU standards. So I think from our point of view, while we can be assured that our local air quality is good, we can't rest in our laurels and kind of ignore the impact that we're having on a kind of wider scale. That's why, as was mentioned in the video, we have been doing the prevention team organised an initiative with local garages to offer free emissions checks to residents so they can check in advance of obviously getting pulled over at the roadside. As you may know, it's an offence to let your vehicle idle unnecessarily. So what we've been doing is we've been going around regular patrols around like local primary schools and some of the secondary schools as well, and approaching drivers who we see idling their vehicles and asking them to switch off their engine. If they don't switch off their engine, it's a £20 fine, and luckily everybody's been happy to comply. We haven't had to issue any fixed penalty notices, but what we hope is that for every one person that we've spoken to, you know how I'm a mum at the school gates myself, I know how word gets around, so for every one person you've spoken to, you might end up getting that message out to 10 or 12 people.
My role is to make sure that we take every opportunity that we have to make the best use of technology in care and support plans for people that live in our area, and that's about keeping people safe and making sure that they're independent. The actual fear of crime is one of the reasons why people give up their home and go into residential care. What telecare can actually offer people is the reassurance and the confidence to be able to live at home safe in the knowledge that they can get help and support at the touch of a button. We're fortunate enough to have our own call monitoring centre based in Thornley Bank. We've got experienced, trained call handlers who are trained in dealing with emergency situations. We would give you a small personal trigger button that you can either wear around your neck or on your wrist. And all you need to know is that if you press that button, you can get help and support. Within seconds, an operator will speak to you through the alarm unit and be able to ascertain what the problems are that you're having. We currently have around 1,900 people connected to SafetyNet. We also have a team of paid care response staff who can call out to visit you any time of the day or night if you've got a problem and need somebody to actually come out to visit you. I don't know if you're aware that the government are actually reducing the timescales for people to be discharged home from hospital. So once the clinician says that someone is fit for discharge, we used to get 14 days. From next year, that's coming down to 72 hours. So families are a wee bit anxious. People themselves might be a wee bit anxious, going home a wee bit early, still a wee bit shaky on my feet, I'm just not quite sure. They'll get a telecare alarm free of charge for the first 6 weeks to give them that reassurance, to give family reassurance that they can get help and support at the touch of a button.
We're funded by Renfrewshire and East Renfrewshire Council, and we provide a range of services to help people stay and remain confident in their own home. The main services that we provide to help people are our small repairs and handy person service. If you give us a call and you need a small repair done around the home, the type of things that we do are mainly joinery work, also minor electrical, minor plumbing, and handy person type jobs. Now that's things like maybe putting up a shelf or building some flat pack furniture. The labour is provided free of charge to anyone aged 60 or over or who has a disability. The only charge is if we provide materials as well. We can put in door peepholes, door chains. We've actually got peepholes with a little intercom on it where you can see who you're talking to and you can press the button and talk to them, so you don't have to open the door at all. The other thing that we do is a bit similar to the trusted trader scheme, is that we've got our own list of approved contractors. What we want people to do is not open the door to folk, is phone us. If you're needing any repairs done to your home or you need a little bit of advice, give us a shout first and we'll put you in touch with reputable people. People that won't rip you off, people that will give you a price for a job before they do anything. They won't take two halfpennies from you until the job's done.
We offer everybody in Scotland a free home fire safety check. But it's an absolutely free service. What it consists of is we make a booking that suits you. We don't tell you when we're coming, you tell us when you want us there. Whether it's 9 o'clock on a Friday night or 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, it doesn't matter. We're a 24-hour service. We can be there anytime. When we come along, we can tell, advise and help you move things about. There's also other things where we're also tying in with Scott as well, and care and repair, where we're identifying other safety measures. And it's the type of thing, when we go into somebody's house and we think, well, there's a loose bit of carpet, that person could fall there. Where do we go? We never ever knew where to go. We now have a point of contact through joint working partnerships with care and repair as well. In the Scottish Fire Services in the last 10 years since this programme for us started, fires, especially fatal house fires, have dropped by 40% because of this service.
The prevention team have put together the Confidence at Home information pack. Provides valuable information on topics that can potentially cause stress and help available to staff and also the community at large. My main message today is by working together, we can provide support both at home and at work to prevent stress and reduce ill health.
My name's John Pollock. I'm the Partnership and Support Officer with Trading Centre Scotland. I think it's worth highlighting all the good work you're doing here. It doesn't happen across all areas of Scotland, and I think the residents of East Renfrewshire, and I am a resident of East Renfrewshire, are very lucky to have people like Paul and the rest of the people sitting at the top table working to prevent bogus workmen and scams taking place across East Renfrewshire. And I just want to say continue doing the good work you're doing.
I'm amazed at all the different services that you have, and having experienced the installation of the True Call after a con builder coming to my house, I have really, really appreciated that. But today I've learned that there's so much more available, and I just think this has been a wonderful, amazing event, and thank you very much.